Welcome back. As we reach the end of the series on the recovery and regeneration of the eastern flatland suburbs, we have left the final words to our Mayor Lianne Dalziel and convener of Eastern Vision, Peter Beck. I talked to them outside Lianne's old ReZoned home in Bexley. Lianne, the draft Greater Christchurch Regeneration Bill has had its first reading in Parliament. Many people in their submissions indicated the need for transition to a locally led recovery and regeneration from 2016. Do you think we have achieved that with the draft bill?
Well, look, I think that it's certainly the model that I would have preferred to see adopted from the outset, because what it does is it has a board that's jointly appointed by central government and the council, and it's focused specifically on Christchurch City as a whole rather than just the CBD. It's got to go through a select committee process. So obviously people will be making submissions, and we'll be making submissions ourselves as a council. The devil is always in the detail, and sometimes, you know, things are written into legislation that have unintended consequences. So we're working through all of those issues, but we continue to work with central government at the same time to make sure that we get that right. I think over the next 5 years you'll see an exponential shift back to local control, and I think that's what the people of Christchurch have said through the submission process on the transitional recovery plan, that that's what they want to see. The initial intention is to have the residential red zone, so-called, included within the range of activities that Regenerate Christchurch will undertake.
I hope that Regenerate Christchurch, when it comes off, it does exactly what you're hoping it does and we're hoping it does. I must say I feel somewhat reassured by all that you've been saying, that we are moving towards a means by which the community can feel we are engaged, we are being listened to, and decisions are being made by local people for us.
One of the significant changes in the legislation from the way it was to the way it's going to be is that instead of the community engagement being the kind of, but don't hold up the recovery or anything like that, which is what the previous act says, this has an obligation on Regenerate Christchurch to engage with the community. And it's an absolute. But I think while we're here, we can't also ignore the fact that there are houses still standing behind us as well, and there are people who haven't been given the opportunity to move on as I have been, and I think it's really important that we make sure that these people are treated fairly. They're not being treated fairly at the moment, and we cannot forget them. Part of the reason why these areas were chosen to be red zoned was because the value of the land wasn't sufficient to allow the investment in the work that needed to be done to make it secure against future seismic events. So if this land is more valuable as the result of work that's able to be done on a area-wide basis, and maybe that gives us the potential for offering some land for development to pay for the development of the Avanotakaharu concept plan that is ultimately worked out through the community. And the only problem with that I see is that those of us that signed the agreement with central government to hand over the land did so on the basis that we wouldn't have first right of refusal for any properties that were subsequently developed, which is quite different from the rules that normally apply under the Public Works Act. And so I think that the way around that would be to say, actually we'll overlook that and we'll make the land available to people who lived in the area first, if that is the case. And if we do that, and there are more people that want to buy into a development, for example, then to conduct a ballot, which I think would be a fair way.
Lianne, we're standing outside your old red zone property. How does this make you feel 5 years on?
Well, I came here on the 5th anniversary. We had a small ceremony down on the beach. Then I came back here. I came back here by myself. And of course, this wasn't just the 5th anniversary of the first earthquake, but it was actually the 3rd anniversary of my house being demolished. So, and it wasn't Sarah that demolished my house, it was the insurance company. And but the date that was chosen was the 4th of September, and I had no idea. I actually drove here. It's funny, I mean, you come here on special days, and on the 4th of September, that's the day for me, because that's the day I got shaken awake, 4:35 in the morning. So it's sad. The only thing that's great about it is the fact that they've fenced off a little bit, some of the people that are still here, and they're using it to run their chickens. This area will present the city with the best of recovery opportunities of any part of the city. We need a vibrant central city, but hey, look, the opportunities here in the east are just magnificent, and we could end up with the largest, natural wetlands, for example, around Travis, expanding that in any city in the world. And so we've got this magnificent opportunity from an ecological point of view, an environmental point of view, but also the Mahinga Kai, and of course that wonderful, concept of I'm reversing it on somebody else's suggestion, the sea to the city.
The sea to the city. Yeah,
so
sure.
Wonderful opportunity for walking.
This series has shown a degree of hope and real positivity about the future. And the other thing is, have your say. Please get involved and have your say in what's going on here. Go up on the Everspace website and register on that and make sure you have your say. And I'm sure that through you and through Rebuild Christchurch, there'll be an opportunity more for people to do just that.
Well, I think it is important. We have been through a terrible experience, but as I've often said, the thing that I will always remember most was the way we came together. And I still have enormous hope that is the legacy that we'll leave future generations, and the magnificence of what the East will offer the whole city will be one of those truly, truly exceptional legacies.
ReZoned. Empty breezes wander streets where the windows of silent houses gaze without any expectations. There was no time for farewells, only the hurried leavings. Come quickly, don't turn back, nothing is left here now. Yet, around abandoned playgrounds, children's laughter lingers, making an invitation to come, plant, picnic, forage among the stories of those who stayed, growing, singing, swimming, roosting, through sunshine, rains and mist, filling the breezes with hope.